So if you follow me on Mastodon, and if you don't, you should, then you might have seen when I teased an upcoming video or two over there. Well, I'm making good on this one. See, I bought this cheap USB DVD drive with the bright idea to play my modest collection of big box retail PC games on my Steam Deck. I fancy myself as somewhat of a collector, so this endeavor, I thought, would satisfy my itch. It turned out to be a bit of a chore that I was not prepared for, and before we dive into actually playing these games, I want to give a brief overview of the setup that I used because this ordeal was a disaster of my own making. See, I bought this Zilnham USB drive. What is it? Zilnham.
Nope.
Zilnham. I don't even know. I've never heard of this brand before. I bought this off of Amazon, and I bought it for a few reasons. When I bought it, I was under the impression that the cable was detachable. It is not. I also was under the impression that this had USB-C power delivery. It does not. Plus, this cable is quite stubby, and it made it really awkward to use with my Steam Deck the way I had intended to, with the USB-C end of this cable going right into the Steam Deck. So if I was to give this drive a review based solely on its physical attributes, I'd give it a 0 out of 5. But then you plug this thing in and it's somehow even worse. Look, I grew up in the 90s, right? Like I know what it's like to use a terrible laptop optical drive, but this is just a whole other level of bad. I just didn't know it yet. So I set up my Steam Deck on my desk with a USB-C hub, which there's a link below, and I connected a charger and this drive. Then it was time to insert the first disc, SimCity 3000 Unlimited. And I tried using Lutris to install it, but I didn't have much luck. See, the way Lutris works is that you install the app and then head over to lutris.net where you'll find installer scripts made by the community. But if you have a disk-based game, you often need to have a script that works with the exact version that's on the disk you're trying to install, or else it just isn't gonna work. And that was the problem that I ran into here. So SimCity 3000 was a wash. So then I turned my attention to StarCraft. Again, I tried multiple installers and I kept getting a soft lock when it was asking for disk 2. The problem is the way these programs were written. They expect the disk to be mounted on a Windows drive letter, and then they expect you to eject the disk and then insert the next one into the same drive.
I hate computers.
That's just not how Linux works. You can fudge it, but that's not ideal either. So instead, what I ended up doing was copying all the files off of my disks and then onto my network drive. And then I consolidated both disks down into one directory. This works because multi-CD games typically have the game's assets split into differently named archives. And they also have the exact same installer executable on each disk. This way you can start the install process from any disk, and ultimately you'll end up with the same game being installed. But when the installer can't find the next archive for it to read, it prompts you for a disk swap. But if all of the archives just happen to be in the same directory, then the installer never needs to prompt for a disk swap. So for most games, this just works. After doing the legwork and copying the disks to my network drive, I was able to get StarCraft Battle Chest installed through Lutris. But I quickly realized that it wasn't very performant.
Feel that stutter.
It happened to default to use WineGE 826, and the UI was laggy, to put it politely. But even if I was patient with it, I couldn't progress into the actual game.
Alright, let's play as a Protoss. And a black screen, of course. I can fix this. I think I can fix this.
So I switched to Proton 8.0, and then boom, just like that, StarCraft was working on my Steam Deck.
Yes. Good. Oh, and we're in the actual game. Alright. It has been a minute since I've played this.
Give me something to shoot.
Give me something to shoot. Am I the only one who feels like this is like Kmart music? Attention Kmart shoppers. Please.
Additional supply depots required.
Attention Terran shoppers. Additional supply depots required.
Now we can add it to my non-Steam games and get it working in game mode. Configure our controls using Steam input, and we're in for a fun time. Next up, it was time to play one of my favorite games from my childhood, SimAnt. Now, I went through the process of dumping the CD just like I did before, even though this isn't a multi-disc release. And then just like I did before, I tried Lutris. but that did not work. So then I opened up Bottles, which is a wine manager essentially, and let it do its thing for a minute. After it completed setting up the wine environment, I clicked the big blue Run Executable button. To be honest, I haven't futzed around too much with Bottles, so it took me a second to figure out what to do. But essentially, I realized that I needed to click the clear button here on the filter field in order to actually select an executable. Once I was done with that though, I could select setup.exe. Now we're actually on our way to SimAnt.
Type your full name into the box below. You may also specify the name of your company. You may use as many as 22 uppercase and lowercase characters or spaces for each string. Gardiner, heavy, element. Is that too many letters? I have no idea how to count. SimAnt for Windows now comes with a modern age book online version of the printed manual. That's a fun sentence. It's way cooler than an ordinary help file. It takes about 2.5 of disk space on your hard drive, and you choose whether or not you want to install it. Options are full install, including modern age book, and game only. Oh, I don't know if I can spare the MIGs and MEGs. SimAnt for Windows requires 2 megabytes of disk space. Wait a minute, does that mean that the online manual requires more space than the game does? Well, at least it's way cooler than a help file, I guess. I will now install SimAnt for Windows with the parameters USR below. This will take anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes depending on your machine. I love it when old software refers to itself in the first person. That was like 10 seconds. I must have a really fast machine. Oh baby, here we go boys. SimAnt on the Steam Deck? Oh, what do I pick? It's been a minute since I played, and by a minute I literally mean 30 years. Okay, welcome to the SimAnt tutorial. Just follow the on-screen instructions and you'll learn how to play the game. Oh my god, that is so loud. Now you're outside. This is called the surface view. Note, you can die up here. Dude, I can barely see my ant. It just blends in with the rest of the background. This is, crazy. After going berserk with hunger, your starved and tortured body reaches the limits of its endurance.
Grim. Ugh, I don't think I was old enough to actually read when I was playing this game as a child. Otherwise, I think it might have scarred me for life. All right, next game. Having worked out a winning strategy, we are back to SimCity 3000 Unlimited.
Ugh, serial number verification? Bro, these are the worst. Boom, installation is done. Wait a minute, EA Help? That's not the game. Okay, let's add the actual executable. And it just fails silently. Okay, so maybe it's failing to launch because the disk isn't inserted, quote unquote. Shh, don't tell anybody. Boys, we've done it. We've got, oh, no, maybe we're not. Let's try again. Yeah, that looks better. All right, let's make a new city. Look at this, man. It has been a minute. Let's pick our landscape and our building type. Boom, I'm ready to get into this. Let's go. And is it frozen? I can hear the wind blowing, so
Since I recorded that, EA has actually released SimCity 3000 Unlimited on Steam, and it's like $1 as of the time of recording. So for the sake of completeness, we've got to try it, right? Yeah, except same issue. Definitely worth $1 to figure that out. Just don't buy EA games, guys. Okay, so honestly, most of the games that we've tried, you can actually buy through Steam or GOG or somewhere else. But to wrap up this video, I want to try a game that you simply cannot get online, anywhere. Let's try Black and White 2. Yes, Black and White 2, what I consider to be Lionhead and Peter Molyneux's best game. That is, if we're discounting the interactive masterpiece, Curiosity, What's Inside the Cube.
You will have the power to introduce morals into a game.
You cannot get Black and White 2 on Steam or GOG. The only legit way to play this title is with a boxed copy. So let's copy all the disk contents onto my network share, set up a bottle, and then run the installation. And then let's find a crack online because it definitely doesn't detect the CD in the drive on Linux. And wow, look at this. We're playing one of my favorite games from young adulthood.
Okay, I played the hell out of this on a cobbled together old PC. This came out in 2005. I was like 16 or 17 when it came out, and I had been out of my parents' house for almost 2 years at this point and working a full-time job. I was making money on the side.
Nobody cares.
That is one glitchy monkey.
Let's have a go at this, boss. Pick up this guy here and drop him over the highlighted area.
Pick up this guy here and drop him over the highlighted area.
Very good.
Aw, thank you. Yeah,
Too bad.
yeah, judo chop.
So the game was released in 2005. It's nearly 20 years old, and that's unbelievable to me. But I was able to get it to work on the Steam Deck from the discs. That's wild to me. I absolutely love that. So here's the deal. I tried a few other games, including another masterpiece of abandonware, Rise of Legends. I went through the whole process of dumping all of these games to my network share, setting up a bottle for each one, but many of the games gave me errors or simply didn't boot. Rise of Legends gave me this specific error when I was trying to launch it, and I could not figure out what to do. If you have any ideas on how to get Rise of Legends working, let me know in the comments, or maybe there's another big box PC game that you want me to try on Steam Deck. Leave me a comment below. Now, I've had fun making this video, and I hope you have too. If you enjoyed this, maybe check out my video about Xbox 360 emulation on the deck, or check out this other one that YouTube recommends. That's going to do it for this video, though. Thank you to my patrons and my YouTube members for supporting the show, and as always, I'll see you next time.